Hello, Loup Power District, employees, retirees, family, and friends, and welcome to this month's edition of Canal Chronicles. As we move into June, obviously everybody knows that May was an extremely stormy month, and we had a number of major storms move through the area, from tornadoes to very significant straight line winds, severe thunderstorm watches and warnings. A lot has gone on in May. Over the past week, we had two significant storms that did a significant amount of damage to the Loup Power District area. The first storm, which occurred on Monday night and Tuesday morning, we had recorded winds of over 90 miles per hour at the Columbus Powerhouse. If any of you have been by Columbus Powerhouse, you've noticed a significant number of trees were damaged with this storm, but thankfully, at least for Loup Power District, we did not have a lot of damage to equipment. So we were able to manage that storm with the exception of the trees that fell down through the city in various areas and obviously the damage at the Columbus Powerhouse Park. Unfortunately, we had another storm that went through on Thursday night and Friday morning, which did a significant amount of damage to Loup Power District facilities. Specifically, the 34.5 kV subtransmission line and the distribution underbuild on 3rd Avenue from the Lost Creek Parkway to the city limits of Columbus. In all, the district lost 16 poles during the storm, and thankfully we brought in all our crews from Fullerton and Albion, as well as the 2 crews we have in Columbus, and made significant progress during the day on Friday. We're able to at least give our crews the weekend off and started working back up again this morning on Tuesday. Hopefully by the end of the day today, or at least sometime tomorrow, the line will be back in service and back in place, and we can move forward with getting our system back to normal. Obviously, these storms are of a significant nature to the district, and we wish we didn't have those, and we apologize for any inconvenience, but storms are a part of our everyday life. So we move forward with those and hope you understand what we're going through as we deal with these storms. I want to give a shout out to all our crews for the significant amount of work that they did and the great way they've always responded when we have storms in our area. Our crews are out in all types of weather, as I've said before, and they work in various dangerous conditions with very dangerous weather situations ongoing. So a shout out to all of those folks that are working on the restoration efforts, and again, hopefully they stay safe during their work process. At today's board meeting, the Board of Management discussed a number of water issues associated with the district. We are in the final steps of preparing our non-capacity license amendment for filing with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, as we've received a waiver of our water quality certification from the Nebraska Department of Environment and Energy, and we've received an additional study report from HDR regarding the change in water flows that we are requesting under the non-capacity license amendment. Hopefully, once we get this filed and acted on by FERC, it will pretty much put to bed all of the license issues that we have, with the exception of a small water flow requirement the district has regarding intake into the canal during the March 1 through June 30th period, and the ongoing issues that we had back in 2016 with closing of the ATV park. We will be working with FERC officials regarding those 2 issues as things move forward. In addition, we recently received approval, or are in the process of receiving approval, to start construction and bidding of the overflow project out at the headworks. Both FERC officials and officials with the Federal Energy Management Agency have indicated that they are okay with the design that we have, and with 1 or 2 little exceptions, they are ready to approve those, and we should get that approval here later this week and then start moving forward with the bidding process. Once the bidding process is complete, we will then move forward with the construction of the overflow project. This is great news, and we're excited to see this moving forward, as it's been a long time coming in our process. I will continue to have updates on this as they become available. Recently, the district received a report from the American Public Power Association comparing the district's rates to other rates of utilities throughout the United States. The good news is the district ranks 7.5% below other Nebraska utilities and almost 36% below the United States utilities in the rankings. The district is in the lowest 10 percentile throughout the United States and is one of the lowest utilities in Nebraska, ranking 10th out of 153 utilities. This is great news and shows the competitiveness of the district's rates compared to others. We've always prided ourselves on being a low-cost, reliable electric utility, and the APPA survey shows that we are doing a good job of this compared to others throughout the United States of America. One of the board's goals is to remain in the lowest 10th percentile, and we're actually closer to the 5th percentile than the 10th percentile. So as management, we feel like we're doing a pretty good job meeting the board's directives regarding our overall rate profile compared to others. Again, this was 2022 data, which is the latest data that's available from the American Public Power Association and the Energy Information Administration, which is where APPA gets the data. We'll continue to update this as we get additional data from APPA in the future. In May, the district made payments to all of our communities based upon the agreement we have with those communities in our professional retail operations and franchise agreement. This agreement calls for 11% of the revenue collected inside the city's distribution limits to be paid back to the cities. This is what we call our lease payment to the cities, and it's all part of the agreements that we have, as the cities are the actual owners of the electric facilities inside those distribution limits. Those payments totaled approximately $1.6 million, and they're made quarterly to each of these communities as part of the agreements that we have with those. Each community uses that money as they see necessary to continue to run their city's services in other areas. And as a district, we are happy to have these agreements with the community as they all run through the end of 2040 and are all very similar for each of our communities. At the board meeting today, the board approved the sale of certain electric facilities to the village of Lindsay, Nebraska. Lindsay recently annexed some property north and west of the current city limits where the new Lindsay Academy is going to be located. Village officials had decided that they wanted to bring that area into the distribution limits where they are able to collect the 11% payment of the revenue from the electric service to the new Lindsay Academy, and the village officials asked our board if they could purchase these facilities. After a discussion today, the board was more than happy to do this, and that area is being extended into the Lindsay distribution area limits. Lindsay is continuing growing community as they grow to the north and west of their current city limits. A new development a couple of years ago was also annexed into the city limits back in 2022. So we continue to see some growth in our smaller communities as we move forward with looking for housing for a number of areas in the district's area, and we see businesses continuing to grow. So this is good news for all of the district service area. As I've mentioned in the past, the district is continuing to see new loads come to Columbus. At the board meeting today, the board approved the purchase of a new 90 MVA, 115 kV to 34.5 kV transformer to be included at the ADM dry grind substation. This transformer will serve two new loads that the district is planning on to become available, one next year and one in 2028, 2029. The transformer is going to take about 2.5 years to get here, as it has a lead time of 125 weeks once the order is placed. So we've got a lot of work to do to get there, and the load that's going to be served starting midpoint of next year will be served in a kind of a backup mode as we await the arrival of the transformer. This 90 MVA transformer bid came in at approximately $3.5 million, which is significantly more than previous transformers the district has purchased, but it is in line with what we're hearing from other utilities, as supply chain constraints and just metal issues associated with building transformers are being observed around the United States. We're glad we could get this initial transformer ordered to serve these two new loads so that we can move forward with those and be prepared when they do come online. So you'll see some construction in the southeast part of the Columbus here very shortly, and you'll be noticing the new transformer coming on board probably sometime in late 2026 or early 2027. As I mentioned at the beginning, the district continues to work on storm-related damages, and we are working as safely as we can. I've said it many times, safety is the number one issue and priority of all district employees. We want all of our employees to go home safe every day, back to their families, and if that can't happen, then we're not doing the proper job. A job done safely is the best way to do any job, and that's what we want all of our employees to do. And fortunately, our employees are very, very good at doing their jobs safely, talking about jobs, communicating with each other when we're on the jobs, making sure things are done correctly. I'm very proud of all of our employees for what they have done and how they've operated safely, and for their response during these situations. So thank you to all of the employees for what you have done, and let's continue to do that moving forward. And so with that, and as always, stay safe and be happy.